to the 15th edition of the Forbes India Leadership Awards.
15 years, that's long enough in Indian business cycles to see the full cycle, the boom years, the shock years, the reset years. And if you've been watching this list from the beginning, you know the names that hold on are the ones who simply did not ride the cycle. They shaped it. Well, and before we begin, we would like to thank our presenting partner, Federal Bank, for anchoring FILA for the second year in a row. Thank you to our Driven By partner, Kia Seltos, and associate partner, Reliance Industries Limited.
Now, I would like to welcome Forbes India editor Suveen Sinha to deliver the opening address. Suveen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to the 15th Forbes India Leadership Awards. To plagiarize the most famous opening of a novel, this is probably not the best of times, but this is not the worst of times either, because these are the times when true leaders emerge. This is the time when all the years of training and education and case studies and PowerPoint presentations are tested against reality. We have people here among us who have done just that, who have been true leaders, who have delivered when it really, really mattered. All these people are great people. They're also great leaders, and we have identified them through a rigorous process. It went on for months, driven by data, perception, and all the other things that are associated. And we put together a stellar jury, because the jury is the bedrock of any such process. So we thank the jury, we congratulate the winners, and we thank everyone present here to be with us on our special day today.
Well, thank you, Suveen, for setting the tone for the evening. And let's start with our first conversation.
The question tonight is how and what it actually takes to manage a business when volatility is no longer the exception, but the operating environment itself.
Well, to lead the conversation, Suveen, I'll have to invite you back on stage.
Let me start by asking Mr. Memani first. As of today, when there is so much uncertainty, what would be your advice to CEOs?
What we have seen that has happened in the last 12 months, tariffs, beginning of this year, what we saw through AI, various geopolitical conflicts, but the biggest one being the current one they are facing. I think companies who have done long-range planning are certainly trying to create more cushions in their capital allocation model. And they are testing their capital allocation models to see, if there were events that happen in any of these areas, so you would say energy, geopolitics, which are quite related, and technology and AI-related changes, are they adequately prepared for that?
How do you do long-term planning? And Mr. Manian, because you finance organizations across sectors, and the rupee is of great concern, and again, which way it will go depends on how long the war goes. So how do you really, how do you do this now?
The concept of long-range planning is out of the window, right? I think you have to be prepared, you have to be agile, you have to keep changing your plans as the thing evolves, as the environment evolves. And therefore, I would say overall, we are at a better starting point today than we have been at times of other crises. I am hopeful that the war will end in time, and this situation will play out a bit and may get slightly worse. Will we be 7.5% growth rate? Maybe not, maybe 7. But 7 is not bad. So I am still of the view that there will be some method to this madness and not complete madness.
Yes. Rahul, so at BCG, you have a window to how organizations operate, and you have an insight into all the concerns as well. How do you see things developing from here?
At a macro level, we are seeing the reverse of globalization, and we are seeing the shift from efficiency to resilience. If you look at what the 2000s did for us, is everybody focused on highest efficiency. Let's buy from where is cheapest, let's make where is cheapest, let's get the lowest cost, right? And let's get as global as it gets, right? While we are talking a lot about the recent war, This has been going on for the last 5 years. If you look at the first Trump era and the tariffs started there, from there to COVID, and then the chip shortage, and then the Israel, the war in Russia war, and then now the Iran war, and in between all the barriers, right? All that has done is shifted the mind of people from solving from lowest cost to business continuity, to ensuring supply security, to ensuring contingency planning, to risk management and scenario-based approach.
So just when we thought that countries' boundaries will disappear and capital and labor will flow freely, the opposite is going to happen in the reversal of globalization. But Mr. Pai, how does that affect you? And as the CEO, how do you manage this situation where there are concerns, there could be hard decisions, but you have to take everyone along as well?
First thing that has become clear to us is that your supply chains have to be regional. So none of Hindalco or Novelis' supply chains go far beyond the region that we work in, and we have tried to maintain that. The second thing that we have also realized is that, I mean, the way I look at it is, if an aluminium smelter has to run or an aluminium rolling plant, what can stop our plant? And then we work backwards to say, okay, how can we build mitigation measures for that? Crisis like this, I actually look at it as an opportunity where people will say, should I be buying Hindalco or some other companies? So the differentiation also becomes clearer in a crisis.
Thank you all for being a part of this Forbes India Leadership Awards.
The Forbes India Leadership Awards, celebrating leadership that endures, built on decisions that stand the test of time.
Now, our first category tonight is Company of the Year, an honor that recognizes not just growth of the company, but structurally significant growth. The Forbes India Company of the Year 2026 goes to Bharti Airtel. Moving on to our next award is for Regional Goliath.
Well, this year's Forbes India Regional Goliath is Balaji Wafers. Please put your hands together. All right, our next category is the Promising Startup of the Year.
The Forbes India Promising Startup 2026, powered by Federal Bank, goes to Emergent. Please welcome Mukerji, founder and CEO Emergent, on stage. We now come to the first Forbes India Icon of Excellence of the evening.
The Forbes India Icon of Excellence is a category the jury reserves for someone whose contribution adds up to something larger than any single achievement. The Forbes India Icon of Excellence 2026 is Abhishek Bachchan. Please welcome Abhishek Bachchan with a round of applause.
I'd like to invite Forbes India's Neni Thakur to take this conversation forward with Abhishek Bachchan.
What stands out for me when I look at your career, is the fact that you've sort of been a path breaker when it comes to some choices that you've made. Where does that appetite for trying something new sort of come from?
It comes from the inspiration in this room, and I see the wonderful variety of work that everybody does. And I just feel that I probably get very bored being unidimensional. I like the challenge. I enjoy variety. I think that reflects in maybe some of the films that I've chosen to do.
Yes.
I like to push the boundaries. I like to take risks. But it all starts from, does your heart lie in what you want to do? If your heart isn't in it, then what's the point of doing it?
You invested in platforms like Swiggy and Zepto way before quick commerce became such a big deal. What did you see that maybe lots of others missed?
I enjoyed using the product. It benefited me in my day-to-day life and made my life a lot easier, which is what a lot of you are doing so wonderfully. They're making life so convenient for us. And that's literally why I really liked it. So I said, hey guys, can I be involved in any which way? And they were kind enough to allow me to.
Thank you for joining us today. This
Thank you
was
for having me.
wonderful. Thank you.
Well, we shift now from the pressure of boardrooms to very different kind of pressure, the kind that comes from standing in front of the camera, in front of an audience.
Well, to lead this conversation, please welcome on stage Kunal Purandare. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rani Mukerji.
You completed 30 years in the Hindi film industry. Quite remarkable. How do you look back at this journey? Incredible journey.
When I think of my journey, the first thing that comes to my head is all those various people who were there with me right from the beginning, who were part of my journey, who helped me excel, you know. So for me, those are the memories that I have of my last 30 years. I have memories of my films doing well, memories of my films not doing well, memories of all the support that I have got through the years, from friends, family, fans, media, journalists, my peers. So yeah, it feels wonderful.
It's quite rare for an actress to stay on top of a game for so long and survive in this industry, which is still male dominated. What does it take to carve a niche as a dependable actor and have this kind of stardom and longevity?
I think it's also the kind of stories that you want to tell. It's also the characters that you want to play, which are more authentic. Characters that come out very real and authentic to the audience. Something that they want to come and watch. Stories that are compelling enough for them to come to the theaters. Choosing scripts which are all heart rather than calculation. So I think those are very, very important.
Okay, but in this age of alpha males on screen, you successfully led a female cop franchise. Mardani 3, the third installment, was the biggest hit in the franchise. Is this something that you plan to continue doing ahead? What is the intent, and what is the impact of the representation of women on screen with such films?
Representation of women in cinema is a huge responsibility. And I think all of us, not only me, there are a lot of my peers, who are doing that continuously. And we all are trying to shape the language of Indian cinema, or the representation of women in Indian cinema beautifully, you know, with different roles, different characters, women from different walks of life, and show their powerful side.
Thank you so much for your time and this conversation.
Thank you
We
for
wish you all the
kindness.
best.
Thank you.
It's now time to present the next Forbes India Icon of Excellence to the one who's the only actor in Filmfare industry to win Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress in the same year for two vastly different performances in two diverse films.
The Forbes India Icon of Excellence Award goes to none other than Rani Mukerji. Please join your hands. Well, moving on to our next award is for Grassroots Philanthropist.
The Forbes India Grassroots Philanthropist 2026 are Ajit Isaac, Founder Trustee, Ajit Isaac Foundation, and Sarah Isaac, Trustee, Ajit Isaac Foundation. Please welcome them on stage with a huge round of applause.
Well, moving to our next winner then.
And the Forbes India Grassroots Philanthropist 2026 goes to Chris Gopalakrishnan, co-founder Infosys and chairman Axelor Ventures. Let's welcome Chris with a huge round of applause.
Well, moving on then, we now come to the next award for the Turnaround Star. Well, the Forbes India Turnaround Star 2026 goes to Force Motors. Please welcome onto the stage Mr. Prasann Firodia, the Managing Director of Force Motors. Well, our next category is the Gen X Entrepreneur. Well, the Forbes India Gen X Entrepreneur 2026 goes to Mr. Abhimanyu Munjal, the MD, Hero FinCorp. Please welcome him on stage. Congratulations. So let's move on to the next category then, the Forbes India Editors Lifetime Achievement Award.
Well, the Forbes India Editors Lifetime Achievement Award 2026 goes to Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan, MD and CEO NSE. Please welcome him on stage with a huge round of applause. Well, moving on, we have the Forbes India Startup of the Year, which recognizes an enterprise that has moved past the early questions. Well, the Forbes India Startup of the Year 2026 goes to Grow. Please welcome on stage Harsh Jain, the co-founder and COO of Grow. Now move on to our next award, the Entrepreneur of the Year.
The Forbes India Entrepreneur of the Year 2026 is Piyush Bansal, the co-founder and CEO of Lenskart. Please put your hands together for Piyush.
The last and most awaited award of the year. Well, the Forbes India CEO of the Year 2026 goes to Anish Shah, the Group CEO and Managing Director, Mahindra & Mahindra. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Fadnavis, we're going to request you to stay on stage. We request you to join us for a fireside conversation. And I'm going to request Bodhisattva Ganguly, Group Consulting Editor, Network 18, to join us on stage for this very special conversation.
Maharashtra ka contribution to India's GDP is about 14-15%. It is the leader in FDI. But it is also facing significant challenges, let's say from states like your neighboring state, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So what is the X factor in Maharashtra?
Today, there are at least 10 states which are competing and which are fairly doing well. And I think that is good for our country. So we believe in competitive federalism, and our Prime Minister believes in competitive federalism. Having said that, I would say that Maharashtra stands out because it has been the leader in manufacturing sector for a long time. We are continuing to do that. We are fintech capital, we are startup capital. We also account for, largest number of unicorns. And I think we stand out in terms of, the entire ecosystem which is created. And I think this work culture, this ecosystem is something which is our X factor.
In fact, Maharashtra, I think, has emerged as a major center for the data center industry. It is I think Navi Mumbai is emerging as a major hub of data centers and all that.
Data center capacity, which is actually working capacity, which is created in India, is about 1.5 gigawatt. Out of that, more than 1 gigawatt sits in the state of Maharashtra. And today, huge investments in data center are coming to Maharashtra. We have closed deals worth 8 lakh crores and about 9 gigawatts of data center capacity. And let me tell you now, everybody is competing to bring the investments in data center. But the biggest thing for data center is power. And Maharashtra is one state which is right now power surplus. We have actually implemented our plan for resource adequacy in energy sector. We have plans of being energy surplus in 2030, in 2035. We are accounted for all the energies that will go into data center. And at the same time, we are also going through energy transition. So by 2030, in fact, we will be 52% renewable. By 2035, we will be 65% renewable. Our assessment is that this new Mumbai, Thane and all this area, which is now our data center hub, will require 5,000 megawatt, 5 gigawatt power in, let's say, next 5 years. We are ready. We are ready with it.
So let me just shift to the softer side. I think one of your ek bada initiative is India's orange economy, which is focusing on the creative industries, on culture and digital content. What kind of investments are you expecting there?
We are a very natural ecosystem for creators economy. The government of India chose us to host Waves, which has been our flagship program in this sector. And after Waves, we are experiencing huge investments in this sector, and especially the Indian Institute of Creative Technology, which is a flagship program of Government of India, which is perhaps the IIT in the creators economy sector, that has been started in Mumbai. And soon we will have a campus in Film City. That campus we have already started building. This will actually formalize the entire human resource that we have to create.
Devendraji, thank you very much.
15 editions on, that remains the purpose of Forbes India Leadership Awards, to recognize not the flash of a single year, but the quality of leadership over time. And with that, we bring the Forbes India Leadership Awards 2026 to a close. Thank you very much.